What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This here's the Christian Trucker, and we are going to bring you a video today about Curtis's second week of his 4-week tour, OTR out there. We'll go ahead and start off by saying it was 2,983 miles, actual miles. That is 2,675 paid miles, so that left us with 308 deadhead miles. Now, to clarify, that's paid to the company and actual to the company. He gets paid for every mile he turns. Even when the back office does not match up to the actual, we will make an adjustment so that he gets paid for the actual miles, every one he turns. Now, that being clarified, that was 2,983 total miles for the week, 2,675 on the paid for the loads, and that leaves 308 deadhead, which is 10.3%. We almost got that 10%. We were just a hair above it. You always want to try to stay below the 10% on the deadhead if possible. But, I used click and go apps all this week, and you'll see what I'm talking about. All right, so week 2 of the 4-week tour, he picked up on the 15th in Cheraw, South Carolina. He delivered in Lancaster, Texas on the 17th. That was an Uber load. That was 1,082 paid, 1,217 actual. And then after he delivered in Lancaster, we picked up the next day on the 18th in Flower Mound, Texas. And we delivered all the way down there in Mobile, Alabama on the 19th. That also was an Uber load. As the actual miles was 683, the paid miles was 610. And then after that one, we picked up on the 19th in Calvert, Alabama, which is on the no-haul list because that's iron oxide. And that stuff gets everywhere. You have to get trailer washouts and all that kind of mess. So yeah, that's on the no-haul. And then we delivered that load in Ames, Iowa on the 22nd. That was a C.H. Robinson load. 1,083 actual miles, 983 paid miles. That was a pretty good run. I like to find those longer runs that take a day and a half, 2 days, because they add up for his mileage toward the end of the week. We don't end up with a week with 2,000 miles and an unhappy driver, because he don't make money based on percentage. He's got to get the miles in order to get the money. So we try to plan the loads where he gets the most miles. And y'all know I don't really like talking bad about some companies, but when you're working under a dispatcher at some companies, they might leave you sitting for a day or two somewhere saying there just ain't no freight. And in my experience, there's always freight. You might not be able to jump on a load immediately, but you might have to deadhead a little bit. But there's always some freight on the freight boards. Now, some companies want to haul their own stuff and they don't want to get on the freight boards. That's their problem, but they should not lie to the drivers, and say there ain't no freight. I've had them do that to me before, and that's a bald-faced lie. There's always some loads. They just might not be paying it just what they want. And as a company, if you want your drivers to stay happy, you've got to get a load under that truck and get them moving so that they can make dollars, because they ain't out there for their health and good looks. I can promise you that. From an old, ugly, fat truck driver, that's what I'm telling you. You ain't out there for your health and your looks. You're out there to make dollars. So, all right, so we started the week off at 612,633 miles. We finished it at 615,616. Like I said, that was 2,983 miles. That was a pretty good week, I think. I think we had a real good week that week. I would have liked to got him above the 3,000 mark, but we were knocking on the door, baby. I mean, we were knocking on it. Okay, now let's move over to the fuel. We bought 552 gallons of fuel. We got 5.4 miles per gallon. That is $1,714.37 for 1 week in fuel. This is a Freightliner Cascadia. You would think it's a 2016. You would think, and it's automatic with the collision mitigation and all that crap on it. You would think that it would get better fuel mileage than 5.4 miles a gallon. Last week was 6.4. But the week before this was 6.48. This one was 5.4 flat. And ladies and gentlemen, your fuel mileage is one of your biggest costs out here on the road. So you want to purchase a vehicle that's going to get you the best fuel mileage. And that was one reason why I tried to stay with the Cascadia, because they do pretty good. But that one is 2 years newer than the one I got. And the one I got gets way better fuel mileage than that one. And I have a stick shift, 10-speed, Eaton Fuller. Love it. I also have the collision mitigation and all that mess on mine. But I get way better fuel mileage than that one he's got. Now, granted, he did have a few hills that week. He did have some heavy loads that week. I'd have to go back and find the amount of weight on each load. But I know the one from Calvert, Alabama to Ames, Iowa, that sucker was stout. I mean, it was pretty dang heavy. So, you think about it like this. Your company has to pay for all that fuel, $1,714 for 1 week. Then they have to cover the insurances, any repairs and maintenance, the driver pay. They got to keep up with compliance and equipment cost. And this goes for all them guys that are out there thinking they're going to jump in the owner-operator game and it's just going to flow so easy. It don't. Right now the rates are up, so it's a little bit easier. And I'm trying to use this time as wisely as I can and take anything extra that we have and make sure my equipment is safe, compliant, and anything that might be fixing to pop off, I'm trying to go ahead and fix. Yeah, I recommend everybody else does the same thing. You try to use your extra money right now to get your equipment top notch, to put a little bit in the bank for hard times, because we don't know what's coming around in 6 months, a year, 2 years. We need to be prepared. And look, what's to say if you got a few extra grand in the bank, everything's still going good in 6 months to a year, then you could expand, or you could use that money for your vacation. Well deserved, I'm sure, because we all work hard out here on the road. But you know, it's something to be said about being prepared for hard times. My mama used to believe I can't take it with me, so I'm going to spend it. Well, she did, and they hardly had a pot to pee in whenever she'd passed. But if you can save it and make it grow for you, use it. Think of it as an army. You're trying to grow your army, and you're going to use that army to conquer more and to grow and to expand your empire. You need to think about your money differently. Don't just think about it as something to be spent. Think about it as something to help you grow and help you expand yourself and secure your future and your family's future. Okay, I'm not going to get off on that. Let's go back to talking about the week. Cheraw, South Carolina, that load was 41,849 pounds. All right, and it delivered to Lancaster, Texas. Y'all could probably figure out where that was, but that, like I said, that was an Uber load. The CH load was Calvert, Alabama. Went up to, why don't I have that on there? There it is, Ames, Iowa. Now that one was 38,581. That was pretty heavy. Like I say, all those loads that week was pretty heavy. It might have been the week that he blew a shock. A shock actually broke on his truck. I mean, brand new shocks that we had ordered and got put on there, and the rascal broke. I'm telling you, man, that was annoying. But that Calvert, Alabama, I don't recommend anybody pick up there because it makes a mess. It makes a real mess. But we got some pretty good rates coming out of Iowa, which we will talk about next week, if I can get it done. I'm going to try to upload this for Friday. There's no guarantees with me. You know, I'm trying to do 500 things, and main thing I'm trying to do is share our experiences with y'all so that y'all can kind of see what goes on behind the scenes of the trucking industry, what a small company goes through, growing pains and everything. Right now, I know I'm paying too much for insurance, but it is what it is. I mean, all the other insurance companies want to hold you down to grow, but Progressive allows you to grow. You just pay a little bit more for it. But I will be shopping around this year. I hate to leave my guy, you know, Southwest Insurance. They're really great. I enjoy working with them. But I've got to make sure I save as much money at the end of the week as I can so that I can keep growing, because y'all going to hear me gripe about this a lot. I want to expand and hire employees, more drivers, but that's expensive. It's expensive. Like when I hire driver 5, the profit from his week will actually go to pay the workers' comp for everybody to the point. Because you're talking about 5 guys at $100 a week. That's $500 a week just in workers' comp. And the rest of it, I look at it like that'll be matching the Social Security and Medicare, you know. You got to make sure that it all works out. And that means once you do go to the point where you have to have workers' comp, Mississippi, once you have 5 employees, you have to. That is a fixed expense at that point. That is an expense that will come out every month, every week, I guess you would say. You got to figure it in just like you would a truck note and truck insurance. That fixed expense, no matter if anybody runs, is going to be coming out. And as far as insurance, it's something that you don't actually get anything back from where you can make money. It takes care of your guys. I want my guys to have workers' comp. I'm going to shop around and find a good company, but we need to have a decent rate too, you know. So between that and the commercial insurance, there's a lot of expenses in this industry, and you guys need to come in and listen and do your homework before you try to open up a trucking company, before you try to take that next step and jump out there. You know, do your homework, make sure you know what you're getting into. When you make a check, don't take it and blow it. Don't go out there and have a party. You need to be ready for the unexpected at all times. That's all for today. I'm going to sign off here, and God bless each and every one of you far and above your wildest dreams. Catch y'all on the next ride. Don't forget how far God has brought you, blessed you, provided for you, protected you, favored you, and loved you. Always remember, put God first, love Him with all your heart and soul.